next video. So, in this whole entire situation, Rob continues his harassment of Bad Day, leaving her in really fucked up comments, going to her page, harassing her, going to her Facebook, stalking her kids, stalking her thing, asking Renee Angel to come to his defense and to speak up for him, which Renee and Angel do. Because of course, this is something that he constantly does, is come crying to us and begging all sorts of different people to come to his defense and do all these things for him. They do at that time. Rob comes over, brings stuff of Bad Day's kids. He wants them to not just attack Bad Day, but he wants them to attack Donna Mac. He wants them to attack all these other people on his behalf, which at that time, because we were friends and we saw that our friend was getting attacked, you know, they stepped up to the plate and tried to help out Rob. All while Rob was still communicating with Lou, even though we had asked him several times to stop it. When Renee sees again that Rob is in Lou's comments, I come to Rob's defense and I say, no, we made him do that so that he can get the information that he needed to get to Lou. And, you know, he warmed up to her because she was being very sweet, very kind to him. Again, none of us really told him to go and stay friends with her. We told him, get the information, dip. He stayed because he wanted to. I took the fall and the blame for it because, yet again, that is what I do. I cover for my friends because at that time I did care for him. Then comes the whole dog catcher situation with Ursa. Ursa is getting evicted from her house. There's all these situations, and because she kept harassing Rob and calling him a predator and had a whole page picture thing on her page calling him and Josh and I don't know who else a predator, you know, he was all upset about that, all in his feels, and he decided that he was going to call the dog catcher on Ursa. He freaks the fuck out because Ursa is on her live when the dog catcher comes in, and he's freaking out that he's going to get blamed. And she had already been blaming me, even though I had nothing to do with it. I can absolutely prove it and prove who called, which was not me. But it doesn't matter. Again, I took the fall because that's just the type of friend that I am. I didn't give a fuck. Ursa has spent years obsessing and attacking me. It didn't make a difference if she continued to lie, because everything that she says is a fucking lie. So here comes, he calls the dog catcher, starts to freak out that, you know, he's going to get caught. And I'm like, listen, if you get caught, you know, she's already blaming me for it. It's okay. I'll take the fall. That's the type of friend that I am. We come to find out that during this time, he is still harassing Bad Day, and we're getting upset because we kept telling him to leave her alone. He goes to Lou and asks Lou to do some sort of volcano working where Lou, which of course it wasn't going to work out because Lou's not a witch. And Lou doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. That's why she's sitting on her bed with her broken back, but nothing to do. So, Lou's doing this working for him. She posts about it. Renee goes over. Renee sees it. And Renee was like, you know, ape shit. She goes fucking ballistic because, again, this is second, third, fourth, I don't even know what time that Renee has asked Rob to stop being friends with Lou. And if he's going to continue to be friends with Lou, that her boundaries are that he needed to get the fuck away from her. From, you know, Renee. So Rob, Renee, there's this whole breakup with Rob and Renee over this situation. Prior to that happening, a few weeks before that, Rob had talked about his CSA situation. Actually, not CSA, I'm sorry, about his family accusing him of CSA. And we were all like, what the fuck? And he told 3 different times, 3 different stories, and it really was eye-opening for us, and we started to distance ourselves a little bit from Rob, because, you know, it made us uncomfortable. There was no reason for family members to, I don't want to get into it, but whatever. Never spoke about his CSA story. This is something that he came up with after we said one of the reasons that we stopped walking away from him, which was over that. But also over the fact that Rob was just being extremely problematic, and then expected us to come and save his ass every single time. And when we did not, he had hissy fits and then would come in and be in the chat. Well, I gotta work, guys, and I'm just not gonna be around much, and would then dip from our chat and go over to Candy and Ghost, and I guess cry to them and say, that we were just not supporting him or not being friends or whatever the situation was, even though he was constantly in our chat trying to put their business out there. And a lot of times we're like, oh my God, poor this person, poor that person, that's kind of fucked up. But we started to see that a lot of the stuff from our chat was also getting leaked, and we just were not feeling comfortable, because it's just certain things that if we're talking amongst friends and we're not telling others, they shouldn't come out. We reached out to Candy and Ghost, had a conversation. They were like, no, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, even though he was in our chat telling us he was. Doesn't matter. We really, at that time, cared for Candy and Ghost. We thought, they were good people, and we were trying to protect them from Rob, because we had already been seeing Rob's problematic behavior. So we tried to give them a heads up. Here comes this whole situation with Renee, Rob. They blow up, and all of this starts to happen while I was having a certain situation that I was having to deal with. Because of Rob's problematic behavior during that time and that situation coming up, I chose that I thought it was best for me to leave TikTok for a bit. And the only way that I could leave TikTok without giving him extreme paranoia was for me to come up with an excuse for me to leave the app, which we did. Everybody agreed that this was the best option for me to be protected from Rob, because I started to feel a certain way about Rob and the way that Rob was doing, and the fact that things that Rob was doing were constantly affecting me, and I was getting attacked. So it was best for me to leave the app while we figured out a way to sort the situation with Rob. I pick up, I leave the app. While I'm gone, I find out that Rob is trying to attack Angel and Renee by claiming that they hex kids, and starting this whole campaign with Candy and Ghost about children getting hexed and children getting hexed. And I found that very hypocritical when Rob is spent his entire time since being a practitioner hexing people's kids, hexing women, trying to get people killed off, and he felt some sort of power because he came into the voodoo practices that he is in, that he had some sort of power over everybody and weaponized constantly these practices. I'm pretty sure he also threw at Bad Day's grandkid. He wasn't open about it in our chat, but I'm pretty sure because at that time he was making threats that he was going to throw at her entire family, including Childs and everything. Probably her daughters or whatever it was. Did we do tons of workings together? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we're witches. I'm sorry if people fuck with you. Oh, why wouldn't you fucking do a working? That is thing. But did we throw at people's children? Absolutely not. Never. That's not something that you're going to ever find any of us doing. So I'm going to go to the next part because it's just running out of time. So we will go to the next part.